Hello everyone, Kaibora here, and today I'm going to bring you a beginner's guide first time playing Escape from Tarkov. Now, you are already probably past this point, but to get the game, you go to escapefromtarkov.com, register. After you register, you log in. It'll tell you to download. After the download, you will first launch the game by opening the Battlestate Games launcher, and it will bring you to this. At this point, when you first open it up, it will have initializing data files. And there'll be an update. You wait for the update. It'll be, several minutes, maybe up to 20, depending on the speed of your internet. And if it's on a hard drive or solid state drive, which at this point I recommend having it on a solid state drive. Sometimes it can get you up to about 40 minutes. It might say it's taking an hour or more than an hour, but from my experience, it doesn't go up any higher than that. So after that's done, you'll see that it has the play button. In order to launch Escape from Tarkov, you will just click play. And this is the screen that it brings you to upon first launching it, and each subsequent launch thereafter. After the initial loading screen, you will be brought here, and this is where the introduction begins, and you can choose your language. After, you can type your name, and then you can choose between Bear or USEC. I choose USEC because of the voice lines. I love being able to scream at people in English. And this is where you get to choose the facial look of your character, which is categorized by name. And then you can also choose the voice line. The voice lines are no longer USEC 1, USEC 2, and USEC 3. But accordingly, they're still in the same order as before. Of course, I'm going to choose Josh because he's the most iconic, in my opinion. Now it loads up to the main screen. And this is the home screen. These are the different options that you have to look at when you first load up. We will start with the character. This is where you'll see your starting gear. If you are Bear, you will have different starting gear. Not all of it, but some of it. Mostly just the guns. And this is what you have access to. Just looking through it all to see what you have, understand what you have. It's okay to inspect. You can click the overall tab. This is where you can get a good look at your character, and you'll see that it records stats. Shows your total online time, your count lifetime, which is when you created the character. So it resets at every wipe. You have skills. You can check your skills. You have tasks. You have health. And back to gear. Clicking Escape from Tarkov is the main way to play the game. When you first click this, you will see your PMC is here. He will have gear on him, or not if you take it off like I have. And you'll see that you have the option to play as a scav on the left. Now, when you first launch the game after updates, there is a cooldown timer. Usually it is around 20 minutes. before you can play as the scav. And you will see that you have the option to click next once one of them is selected. After you click next, you will come to the map selection page. And currently, not every map is available because it is still in development. It is a beta. And from here, you can select what map you want. You can select them and highlight, and you can choose the different time frames to select. You will notice all the ones I just selected all have the same time, and it's increasing by seconds, or milliseconds rather. You'll see all the maps I have selected have the same time that is increasing, except for Factory. This is because in Factory there's only a day and a night, where other maps have times going up is because you can start a map in the daytime, and if you're in that map long enough, it'll eventually become dark and the sun will set. The reverse is true as well. You can start the map already dark and it will turn light by the end. But in Factory, that doesn't happen. You either start in day and it stays day throughout, or you start at night and it stays night throughout. I would recommend, as a beginner, to learn customs first, just because there are crucial tasks that need to be done there, and overall it's just a really enjoyable and fun map. But you will be able to click next to proceed. But when you get to this screen, this is where you can choose to do an offline raid if you want to. But don't select any of this if you're going to do a normal raid, because you will just select next and it will bring you to the insurance screen where you can insure your items. You can select all, or you can select them individually and then you click insure, and this is the price you'll pay. I highly recommend to insure everything all the time, because it literally costs about 5 to 10%, not even, of the total cost of the item. And if you don't get it back, you didn't really lose that much money. And if you do get it back, but you don't want to use it, you can just sell the items, because it only costs you 5% roughly of what the item is worth. You'll always get a profit from selling it back if you get it back. But after it's insured, then you can click next, or you can just click ready if you don't want to go into the lobby if you're going to solo. But generally you click next, because then you'll see the lobby and it's full of people. These are people that are looking for group. These are not the list of every person that's going to be in the raid. This is just people that are looking for group, and you can look for group by clicking this button. If you are by yourself, you can just click ready and you'll load in. Or if you are teaming up with some friends or other people that you met on a Discord or any other gaming voice application, you should be able to see them in here. If they are on your friends list, you'll see that they pop up with a little friend icon to the left, and it will automatically show at the top if they are in lobby. But if you don't have them on your friends list, you'll have to search their name through this list and see if you can come across it. And you can also type in here, and their name will get filtered. And then you would right click, invite to group. and they'll accept. And once they accept, you can click ready, and that's it. This screen where you can select whether you will do an offline mode, which nothing counts when you do an offline mode. Anything that you bring in, you will not lose. You won't lose any ammo. You won't lose anything that you bring in. You can also enable PvE, where you can face off against AI scavs to fight, and you can select their difficulty and the amount. And depending on the map, you can enable bosses, and bosses will spawn. You can enable Tagged and Curse, which just makes scavs auto selecting Tagged and Cursed makes scavs auto target you. Selecting Tagged and Cursed makes scavs automatically know where you are, and they will hunt you down. Scav War is what the name implies. All scavs will shoot at each other in one big war. But once you have that selected, you can click Next, and you'll see it brings you to this screen. Because this is offline, there's no lobby to choose from. And when you want to proceed, you just click Ready, and it will load you into the offline match. And when your scav is ready to be used, you can select them the same way as you did the PMC. You'll click Next. You'll do the same thing as you do with the PMC. And when you select Next, the difference is you can't go to an offline. You cannot do a scav in offline mode. And here you can click Ready if you're going to solo, or invite the people that you're going to play with. You have the Trading tab. These are all the dealers that you have access to. You will see that when you are first starting out, Jaeger is not available. You have to unlock him with a task that you can get through Mechanic. On the subject of tasks, in order to obtain a task, and specifically to unlock the task to get Jaeger, once you select a dealer and you select Mechanic, you click Tasks, and he'll have a task here for you. It will have an Accept button that you click right here. And once you click that Accept button, you'll see a new task pops up called Introduction, which you will also have to click Accept. But once you click that, that's when you can start that task in order to unlock Jaeger. And the dealers are useful because you'll be buying and selling from them a lot. And I recommend early on that you sell as much as you can, and that you don't hoard, because almost anything that you can sell to them is generally worth it, because you need to level up their reputation points in order to unlock their next loyalty level, because the loyalty levels are important, because that's when you get access to better items for cheaper. And every dealer has a different set of items. You'll see that Proper has guns, ammunition, and weapon parts. You'll see that Therapist, she has medical and food items. She also has some storage containers. And the Fence, he can have a bunch of random stuff. But I highly recommend to not buy nor sell anything to Fence, because he charges you more than other dealers will. And when you sell to him, he also gives you way less than any other dealer will give you. And every item can be sold to a dealer. But sometimes he might have a rare specific good deal on an item, but it's very hit or miss. Skier is a lot like Prepper. He has ammunition, weapon parts, and guns. A different selection than Proper. Peacekeeper also has ammunition, parts, and guns. Also different from Proper and Skier. But you will need to spend dollars over rubles compared to the other dealers. Mechanic also has guns, weapon parts, and ammo. And some of his you actually need to spend euros to purchase. And this is Ragman. He is the one that you get helmets, armor, tactical rigs, armored rigs from. And he is the one that you can also sell those same things to. Once you have Jaeger unlocked, you'll see that he sells shotguns and bolt action rifles and a bolt action shotgun. And he has some ammo available as well. You will see that he sells a compass, which at this point of the game, I would recommend not to buy because there's a task that Proper gives you that you will obtain one for free. And it goes into a slot on your character that you never lose the compass once equipped. That's it for the dealers. Next, you have your hideout. You'll see in your hideout there are many different options. You'll see that these are already assembled for me. So this is not what it will look like when you first start out. But this is an example of something that you can construct, and it's not available yet when it says locked, like this Christmas tree. You can see at the bottom that you can scroll through the available things that you have and can possibly eventually have. When you click on something, you'll see it says construction requirements. It may have any assortment of things. You can have several items, you can have just money, you can have just dealer level. But if you meet the requirements, you can click construct. And some hideout upgrades are instantly constructed, others take several hours. When you have your group ready, you click ready, and it'll bring you to the loading screen. At this point, you will see your character on the left side, and it will go through the process. You will see that after loading map gets to 100, it might stutter or freeze for a few moments. You will see that it then loads loot. After loading loot, it will then create loot pools. After creating loot pools, it will say awaiting session start. Then, if you are not the last person to load in, it will have waiting for players. And then once all the players are done loading in, everyone will be deploying. It starts at 20 seconds and counts all the way down to 0. And during this process, you will be ready to enter into your first match of Escape from Tarkov. This is when you first load in. That's my teammate right there. There is in-game sound, but for the purpose of the tutorial, I had disabled the sound of this recording. We rush up, he sees enemies, he tries the push, he jumps up, he gets popped, he dies. I try to grab his stuff quickly, because I know he has better armor than me, so I tried to equip it, picked up his gun. I was also picking this up so I could try to save it for him. I take out his gun because it's a little bit better than mine, and I'm trying to think of what I want to do. I didn't just want to run away because I felt like I was too exposed. So I waited for them to push me, which is not always the best thing to keep in mind. That's why I pushed out here. I bring the fight to him. I managed to win that one, but I was really hurt. But you'll see the enemy hopped up right there and pops me in the head. My chances of living through that was low. In all honesty, that might be how some raids go, but not all raids will go like that. You will be successful, and you will also be unsuccessful. It's the way Escape from Tarkov is. One of the things I recommend doing early on is to go to your settings in the bottom right hand corner. You will come over to Game, and you will select head bobbing and drive it all the way to the far left. Put it all the way to 0.2. This just helps out your gameplay so you're not constantly having your head go up and down in game, which can actually lead to not being able to aim proficiently. Then, when you go to graphics, I highly recommend to uncheck all of these boxes at the bottom, and then you can click Save. This is just to help you start off early. I'm not going to go over settings in this yet. I have another video that goes more detail about optimizing your computer. But this is just to help you off early on to know that none of these have to be checked at the bottom. But I want to focus on going to controls so that you can understand some hotkeys in the game. It's good to look through these so that you know what keys do which, because it's very crucial, because you'll be using a lot of these. So get familiar with this. So you did your first raid as a scav specifically. So let's say you got done with your first scav raid. You survived. You got out. At the end, you'll come to the raid ended scav loot transfer screen. This is your chance to take off all the stuff that you earned while on your scav and be able to put it in your loot stash in order to keep it. If you click next without offloading any of the stuff, it will be gone and you will not be able to retrieve it. If you have anything left on you, most of the time you should get a warning. Here, I'm going to show you some nice hotkeys that are very beneficial for you in the game. So, this is after you spawn into a match. This is one of the spawn locations. Ideally, you're going to want to maneuver and get out right away. You're not going to want to stay here. But for the purposes of this, I'm just going to stay here. So if you hold left Alt key and T, you're going to do a mag check. That's important because it lets you know the ammo that was in it in the bottom right corner. And it's going to also let you know if it's full, above half, around half, under half, or empty. So that will let you know if you have to reload or not. Now if you hold Shift and T, you're going to do a chamber check. You don't get no notification in the bottom right of what that is, but what that's going to let you know is hopefully you might be able to see a bullet in there. I'm not sure if I saw anything in that, but there probably is. But to really check, it's to let you know what is currently chambered. But to go and look at that, if you push tab, to go to your inventory screen, you can double click it to inspect it, or you can right click and click inspect, but double clicking is much faster, and it will pop up down here. This bullet right here is the one that's in your chamber. Now, if you don't chamber check, it's going to show it as unknown. And it's very minute of the importance of that, but it is still good to know in case if you don't want an ineffective round in there. Now, to get rid of that round, let's say the rest of your mag has some good ammo in it, you can hold left control and R, and it ejects what was in the chamber. And you won't be able to see it here because of the grass, but the bullet will actually fall on the ground, which you can then pick up afterward. But if I walk over here and do it on the pavement, again, I will hold left control with R. It ejects the bullet, and the bullet is right there. You'll see you get a little white dot that lets you know an item is nearby your center of screen, and once you hover over it properly, you can see that it turns to a hand. It says take, and you push F key. You can pick it up. You do that with any item that you see. That's how you pick up. You push F over it. But let's say you move out now, right? You hold down left shift to sprint. You will press caps lock to do a slow walk, which reduces your sound significantly. Then if you push C to crouch, it will even make less noise. And X makes you go prone. X also lets you get back up. Oh, well, look at this. There's a bag there. So normally this will not spawn here. This is just for this video's purpose. You come over, you see the item. It says take or search. So normally you won't be able to just take a backpack inside your backpack, but because I have open space here, it allows me to take it. Normally you would see that it says search. So you search it. These items will be unknown because I already know what these items are. They're known to me, but usually there's going to be a search feature right here. You'll click search to unlock the contents of what's in the bag. Then to pick them up, you can drag them over, but that's really inefficient. By default, it's set to holding left control and left click, and it will automatically bring the items over. Ammo and magazines will be prioritized to your tactical rig first, and the rest of the items will go into your scav backpack. There is also a nifty hint that it's not set by default, but it's actually default to the delete key, is to drop items by pushing the delete key. But that takes a little bit too much extra finger movement. So what you can do instead is I keep mine to left control and right click. Since left control, left click brings it in, I figured why not do left control, right click to drop them. Now, if you want to move stuff back over for whatever reason, you know how you clicked left control, left click to bring it to your inventory? You can push left control, left click, and it puts it back. It's way more proficient to do that than just right clicking. You can do that with your gear as well. Let's say you killed a player and you want to take their gear quick. They have better stuff than you. You just drop yours, and then you'll left click on their body with left control, and it'll just automatically put it in your inventory. But now if you're looking at the body, you will actually press left alt and left click, and it will actually allow you to take it off their body right onto yours as long as there's free space. So for this instance, let's say this is an enemy player. I'm searching his body. I was like, oh, I need his stuff. I hold left alt, left click, and it equips it. If I hold left control and left click, it just puts it in my inventory if there's space. But left alt, left click will automatically equip it. Also, by pushing the O key, you will see the time left you have in raid in the top right corner. That's important to know because once you get to 0, that is the end of the raid. Now if you hit double O, it will show you the time with the extraction points that you have. Most maps have static extracts, and then depending on the side that you spawn on, you'll have different extracts, and there are some bonus extracts as well. Now, it's different for scavs compared to PMCs, even though some are shared. Most of the time they're not. But depending on the side or where in the map you spawn on, it will be a different extract location. I just recommend to go in offline mode, practice where to go, so that you can try to find your way out. Another good thing to keep in mind is if you push double Z, you can drop your backpack on the floor. That's good to know, because if you're coming into an engagement, your backpack can weigh you down, plus also with the stuff inside it. But by dropping it, you can actually sneak walk and make less noise, because if you're full, your footsteps can still be clunky. And I can see that it is now sunny. You will have noticed that the weather has changed. At the start of this, it was rainy, thunderstorm, cloudy, and now it has turned over to being sunny and bright. Well, thank you for watching the video. I hope this has helped you. Hope you have a good time trying to escape in Tarkov.